Chainsaws. Well, we've arrived.
By itself, that makes it 11.
So when did you say that you thought these events occurred? These electric
There's
events?
multiple events, so and this would be a place where all of the events would be recorded. Since, because if you found Folsom here, then what we would be looking at is at least a complete history from 9,000 years ago. And the big event, which some people mistake as the Great Flood or whatever, is the last mass extinction.
Could be of that, like something splitting, something breaking apart. Half
Yeah,
and half.
they're
That's
breaking.
interesting.
Cloud blower.
Yeah. Like a ritual.
And then the crosses to the upper left are.
These are historic period petroglyphs, and then we have something even newer. This little guy over here is pretty darn modern.
Do you think that these? Now what kind of animal is that?
So we would call this quadruped with cloven hooves.
Okay.
So probably a deer.
Okay.
And
With
you
a
can
dude
see
coming out of his tail.
There's a ton of additions, and that dude coming out of his tail is very new compared to him.
Okay.
T. Jeff probably had something to do with that. You can see it much better, but it's almost the shape of the body is almost ghost-like, and it's very, very delicately pecked.
I need to remember that what you told me about how they would do it in ritual. That's
To rhythm.
incredible. To rhythm.
That's nice.
That's powerful. That's a whole other. And then also you brought up the metaphysical aspect of it. So in modern magic, somebody will write a symbol down and they'll focus on that symbol and to achieve certain results. So these people are, I'm assuming they're seeing something in the heavens, and then the shaman would write that symbol down and they would meditate and they would focus on it. It would be like the microcosm of the macrocosm, almost like a way to connect with the gods or a way to connect with nature or source or something. Agreed.
That come from his left hand, and then one has dropped off by his foot, it seems.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So this reminded, it doesn't fit with the patination. I want to say that because we've got these additions. Well, let me just tell you. So this reminded one of the members of Okewinge, who's actually a former lieutenant governor, of the way they depicted Pope with his knotted yucca rope. And
What does that mean?
so Pope was this leader of the Pueblo Revolt of 1680. And he was a spiritual leader from Okewinge. And he used a method of timing, to get timing together along all the Pueblos.
Yeah.
By taking cord and knotting it for the amount of days it would be until they all would revolt at the same time.
Aha.
So this method, though, wasn't born with Pope in 1680. It would have been something that was part of some sort of story, probably.
Yeah.
That was told again and again and again.
Right. And so he sent out runners with these yucca ropes to all of the Pueblos, and every day whoever had the rope would untie a knot, and when they untied the last knot, they all revolted against the Spanish, who were separated in each Pueblo in the church that the Pueblo people built them, and in that way they were able to drive them out for 10 years. The ones you're seeing are Puebloan. They would grind these through ritual, and they would make them, the powder that was created from grinding them out was sacred substance, so the actual rock flour. So so the patination on this one is really, really high, but you were saying possibly it looks like they could have burned something in there.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Over here we have some really great, very typical archaic petroglyphs, the asterisk star symbol. Right there is a one-pole ladder.
Yeah, there's your shirt, man.
And then we've got the phi glyph, which is a very common thing. This right here,
The trident?
the trident.
Yeah.
Right.
So the different variations on it. we
Thunderbolt
call
of the
phi glyphs.
gods. The double
Zeus.
would be the
That's
double
a Zeus
trident,
lightning bolt right there, dude.
both sides.
Hey,
And there's two thunderbolts in one glyph. So you have half of a double.
that's the whole thing. Yeah, there's the bottom part and the top part right there.
Yeah, probably.
And then there's an asterisk next to it. So it's like,
the power of it, but very much brings a bringer of water and life, and also has an association with winter. So there is a story of the seasons that the Tewa people have let us know about. And it actually has its origins in Hopi. There's a lot of links between Hopi people and Tewa people. And they even, in very recent times, have lived together and traveled to support each other. So this Avanyu, the story is that the sun god, who makes it very, very bright, and on summer solstice has made it really, really too long of a day. The sun is always trying to get away with things and take things too far and doesn't know how to stop. And so the Tewa is used in conjunction with the people. The Avanyu is used in conjunction with the people to corral the power of the sun and start to bring back a little bit of more darkness every single day. But the same thing happens too with the Avanyu, who makes it way too dark, way too long when we get to winter solstice, the shortest day of the year. And the sun god comes and they have a conflict and they start to bring back a little bit of the light every day. The solstices and equinoxes are of course of extreme importance to the Tewa people, and we're going to see a lot of relationships being shown of a lot of Avanyu right next to sun gods. The symbol of a sprouting
Can't see
seed.
it over there. Can't see it on that side.
Oh man, that's old.
That's old.
Looks like a sperm. That's what I would say.
Right. Because they didn't get to see
Tadpoles.
them from microscopes, we also, a sprouting seed will be similar.
Sprouting seed.
Yeah. Is that something you spoke to the locals about and they confirm?
No.
Oh.
There's not a lot that they'll confirm.
I
We
bet.
just take what we can get.
Right.
Eyes
Right.
to sell for landscaping. So you can imagine how many people in Santa Fe have a little piece of a petroglyph.
Right.
how old do you think this is?
So this is Pobloan.
Okay.
A lot of what we think this is too, a lot of the stuff.
What about the ancient technology hole next to it? Where did that come from?
It's been worked, the natural hole that's been worked.
Ah.
You can see, of course, this awesome the ground and then also another cupule on top. So around 1300, we have a huge influx of population from the Four Corners region. People who would have been from Chaco, Mesa Verde, who've moved here, migrated here. And we do think a lot of what is Pobloan is from them, from that culture. We have this kind of boom.
Okay.
But but the Pobloan people, so we've got nomadic hunter-gatherers from all the way up until around 300 to 600 AD. Around then, between then and 1300, we don't know a lot about what happened. We know they weren't really doing pueblos. They were living in pit houses, much longer here than other places in the southwest.
Okay.
And we also know that they were growing agriculture as well as continuing to farm, hunt.
Okay.
And gather. So we have this little mini period called the Rio Grande Classic period. So a lot of these Puebloan stuff could be from 1300 on. This one, it's interesting, the tail goes around the notch
The corner.
there.
Uh-huh.
Here's the rest of that rock. It fell off sometime between when this petroglyph was made,
Yeah.
right here, this fully patinated animal,
Right.
and when those were made.
Yeah, that's a pretty fresh crack there.
It's pretty Puebloan. This is archaic over here, so we have a long time period.
And so did you improve the trail, or is this like the Petroglyph people's trail?
This is their trail that we maintain. This is an ancient trail.
Yeah, it was here.
That's the nice, look at that, man. That's like machined. I mean, almost. I mean, that's fantastic.
I've never seen anything like that.
That is incredible.
It looks like the ancient Mexican calendar.
Dude.
So we're in a waterway. We call these arroyos here in New Mexico. And so the water has washed over these rocks, so it's hard for us to know how old this is because the water has changed the overall patination. You can see as you go up, this rock above has normal patination, and this, as you go down, has had more water.
So you got a plasma orb or a turtle. You got this weird thing here, and then this is probably older than all of it, and it's in the best, most clean. Like that's the nicest one. That's the nicest petroglyph I've ever seen. I mean, as far as the detail, look at that.
It's pretty nice.
It's got the cross in the center. It's got a circle around it, and then I'll bet if we counted all the rays outside of that,
We have time to do that. We have the video.
Wow, man.
These bird tracks depict the original trail.
Been worked heavily, right?
It's a xylophone from, it's an archaic xylophone.
It does create two tones of perfect fifth.
That's amazing.
With
And that
what?
and the
Another rock?
depressions.
With, generally they would probably have used a leather mallet.
There's a petroglyph right there too. Whatever that thing
Some
is.
type of
Looks pretty
animal.
old. See that, Diamond? They're playing to the animals. Ooh, maybe. No, because it's got like the hands that are, you know, like claw hands, like, so that's more of like an entity. I don't think that.
Well, a lot of deities are shown to be both, I should clarify, a lot of deities are shown to be both sex.
Right.
The being somebody who can encompass both of the polarities of male and female is seen in a lot of cultures as very, very powerful.
Right. I read that in the native cultures also, that was like, sometimes they're guides and stuff like that, or people that they looked up to.
Angles. And then to the right you see a figure you can't see the head of, and that's because it doesn't have a head. There's no head on that. It goes right up to the edge of the rock. And there's an indication of genitalia going in, so probably female.
So that's a dinosaur.
I'm telling you, that's how the natives got around. They rode dinosaurs, man.
So the lightning bolt is really, yeah. Sorry, it took me a second to take that in. The thicker handle, thicker lines with a big ball at the top, something that looks like a tool. Ooh, nothing like this, which is such a skinny line and a small, and long, and then a small disc. This one, this snake, if you look closely, has two horns, and it's right next to a disc.
Oh, it does. It's got the, yeah.
So
That's
this,
awesome.
it's interesting. In the world of Tewa and a lot of other places, the equinox is super important because it brings its days of balance and harmony in the universe. So the days of the equinox are equal, the sun and the night and the day. And so those are seen as days of great harmony because those powers of the Avanyu and the sun god are balanced.
Avanyu, is that the moon or the sun?
That's the snake with the horns.
Oh,
Who's
the
in
snake with
charge
the horns.
of the wintertime water,
Okay.
rain, lightning.
Wonder if this is a calendar and the frog represents like spring or something. Isn't that weird? And the bow ties we've seen with the arrow. We saw that at Sankawi. And right next to something that looks like the wheel of life. And
So yeah, we saw that down there, right? But it was
Yeah.
it was even better. It was carved better, and it was like etched. It was like etched in, where this is more.
and it had a central cross. This doesn't.
This I'll bet's newer. Maybe you can get some better footage of it.
That's a Venus star with feet right there. Yeah, it looks good from this angle.
Look at Kokopelli.
The Capelli. There you go. Oh, you've got footprint outlines. Those show 6 toes.
I don't think those do. We also have some more.
Oh yeah.
So when we see this smaller, rounder print next to the print that looks human, possibly depiction of a human and a bear together.
Okay.
With your paw.
Or Bigfoot.
Nanny, nanny.
Nah.
Where are the prints?
Right there.
Okay.
There's a small shield right here as you guys pass up whenever you're ready.
Wow, so beautiful. mean, just look at that.
It's water, man. Right by the spiral.
So these tailed circles that look like balloons, we see a lot. And we also see them in connection with things that look like turtles.
Looks like his eyes, nose, and a mouth in there too.
That's
Okay, so something's on top of his head.
the shield, the
Yeah.
big shield.
Yeah.
And an arrow.
So this, we believe, was added later.
The head was first and then the shield, or?
Shield first.
Okay.
Which is interesting because the shield looks like it's the newest, right? Compared to the top part, but
It's much more carefully pecked out and much more densely pecked out, where the one on top is very sparse. So, you know, a couple hundred years difference, not huge, but
that's brilliant how you're able to detect. Okay, based upon how they're etching it, you can tell if it's newer or older as well, based upon their rituals with the beads.
well, for us, it's because they'll do both sparse and dense in
Okay.
all of the time periods.
Okay.
But we look at the patination levels in the view of how they did it. So if it's sparse, and when you get a lot closer, the patination levels become clearer. The other guys right next to each other,
You're right.
and we don't often see them lined up like that. This one is either a birthing figure or a two-headed person, a snake with a spiral end. This sequence starts with two footprints and ends with whatever this is, whatever that is, and this other great
It's the evolution of man with the plasma event, Anunnaki, and then Bigfoot. See?
Hello. This is
What do you see?
boom.
That's the guy I saw from way down there too.
That's
There's
our
the happy guy.
heraldic lion
Yeah.
of Spain.
Look at this.
Maybe
I
that.
think. We don't know for sure.
That's why. Here, let me get your way, bro.
I'm just trying to get that in. And then reveal the boom.
It's like a bingo. Right
Yeah,
there, man.
look at that boom. That's beautiful.
Now it looks like the Spanish came and put the X's on it. Or was it the Pueblo?
As you get closer, you'll see that those were here first.
Ah.
The X's were.
Yeah.
Okay.
Swooping crossing lines.
There's like a ladder. There's a map underneath it. Right there.
Yes, sir.
You'll notice that this surface has been used to put crosses in, probably very ceremonially and very quickly. This could have been used as an area to prepare for war.
Oh, war, like they're looking at the lion god.
So this is the heraldic lion of Spain is something that they would have seen on the Spanish currency, on Spanish flags. It's a symbol of the Spanish monarchy. And you can see this one has a lightning bolt going through his neck and possibly a sword going straight through his head. One of the defining characteristics
Kill
of the heraldic
him.
lion is the long toes that are like fingers.
Yeah.
So if you Google that later, you'll find some examples of actual this symbol on currency. So Spanish were super powerful and they took over everything, and so this symbol was, you know, a very, very powerful symbol because the Spanish had so much.
So they were destroying the symbol. This was their ritual here. Like you said, they'd come up here and they're like, "We destroy you with our serpent god."
Well, maybe the map below is where the Spanish are at in case you want to go get them.
It's
Like a
interesting
barcode.
because this stuff, the swooping lines, this interesting thing kind of looks like a map or maybe even blueprints. It reminds me of.
Yeah.
Those
some
are
similarity
all
on top.
much earlier than the lion himself. And the act of superimposing one petroglyph on the other was not common, and when it was done very intentionally.
Merge.
But the thing is, you come back here every day, different times of the year, different times of day, and you'll see petroglyphs that you've never seen before.
Right.
New things are
It
revealed.
happens to me
Yeah.
constantly.
Question. This right up here, is that the petroglyph? That looks like one of those lines with the dots at the top, like we're looking at down there. See that? Isn't that rock?
Yeah. So you're saying the one that has the planning lines, or are you looking at the shield?
I don't see a shield. I just see the lines. I see the long line, and it almost looks like a cross, and then the dot at the top there. But it looks very like if it was.
This is a geology question. You're looking at the natural formations of the rock, I think.
Yeah.
Right, you see it, Diamond?
No, those slots?
No, I'm not looking at the slot. It looks like the same coloring right up there. Is it just the rock, or is it an actual line like we saw earlier, where they put the dot at the top?
That's not. That's a crack in the rock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Crack in the rock.
Crack in the rock.
But they would often incorporate these natural features of these rocks into their designs. So this is an interesting panel. We have some unfinished nucleated circles, and if you were able to get really close, you could see that they have planning dots finishing the circle in most of these cases.
Oh, planning dots. They didn't
and the
finish.
snake also has planning dots, so it's a theme here. There's also a lot of bullet holes. There are 4 bullet holes in this panel.
Turkeys.
So this guy, this square guy, up and to the right of the shield, he used to have what looks like 4 legs, but a bullet hole went through the right side of him.
Right.
And then this bird that we see over and over again, there's actually 3 on this panel, is called the knife-winged bird, or we refer to it as the knife-winged bird. It's kind of a story, a bedtime story to get your kids to behave. If you don't behave, the knife-winged bird is going to come and with his wings of knives and get you.
Wicked.
And he's underneath of a gallows.
Yeah, I have no idea what that is. That's a
Wow, that's like a bird. And like an astronaut dude. And some Parat guy.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, astronaut man with no arms.
They're all the way, I mean, these things go all the way
Snake.
across over.
Snake.
like a crab.
Yeah.
It could be a crab.
Oh, it does look like
They did trade from, rare items from the Gulf of Mexico. But there's another theory that it could be 2 snakes emerging from a hole of some kind. 2 of those 2-horned snakes. And we have 2 Avanus right here. Another one here. This is older. This is newer. These series of discs with the wisps. And then all of these lines with balls for discs at the top.
And the Avanu is
The 2-horned snake.
which is the Tewa god.
Tewa.
What does it represent? Is it their main deity?
Everything, water, it's like half of the world. Everything water, everything from the underground, everything winter, everything rain, and also lightning.
Plasma, even. We saw this at Secret Valley, or
There's another dude with a thing coming out of his tail. What's that, dude?
Okay, cool. Awesome. That is an alien, dude. Antenna.
it's gonna be a long video.
This is awesome what you folks are doing.
It is so important. And the petroglyphs continue along the Rio Grande Valley on the same, the lava flow that...
Second, you're eventually going to get kicked out of here and all this stuff is going to disappear?
We've been told that not the preserve. The preserve is preserved in perpetuity. It's only 100. So that's the original house that Catherine built.
Right.
The tenant lives there with her late partner Lloyd. And then the one over to the left is where she is now. I want to make sure you guys get to see. We can come back here and see a side.
Okay.
Okay. There's glyphs on all of these rocks.
Well, at least, before we move from this area, I want to tell you about this player down here.
There it is.
So this is our logo, but before we knew this was our logo.
Animal.
We chose this before we knew it was a calendar marker for the equinox. So midday, when you don't have a shadow, the shadow that is above the flute player down there
Right.
comes and curves perfectly along the back and the tail.
Oh, nice.
Right at midday on both equinoxes.
Oh wow.
It moves so quickly. The shadow
Yeah.
goes into place, and then you can watch it move. It's amazing.
Wow.
So this has a relationship with this boulder I'm going to show you guys, but I want you to know where that is so that you can understand the relationship in space before we come down, because we won't be able to see it from that trail.
Okay.
Oh, you did?
I found that there's a Defino Chacon from Alcalde, born in 1912, which I can't say definitively, but probably very likely, because Alcalde is where we are, basically just a little bit south.
Okay.
Yeah, so you did it around 1912.
Right, probably around 1930.
Right.
Some
Yeah, and there's stuff.
dumb teenager.
Hey,
We're gonna get.
so much on that rock. Right?
Ancient compass.
That rock will come. No matter where you go in here, it's just going to be steps.
And these may be the oldest.
Yeah, it's all archaic. We have older stuff.
Oh, there's their there's their t-shirt right in there.
There's a ton of one-pole ladders.
Yeah.
A ton.
Yeah, there's one pole ladder. Right next to where it is, right next to the fish. This other fish. Look. All kinds of stuff.
You guys are going to be able to pick up a lot more with your cameras later, because there's a lot that's just not clear. You don't have that shadow.
Every one of those rocks over there on that hill got them too.
Oh yeah.
There's a shield up there that looks heraldic.
I know, right? And it's actually Pavloan, from what we can tell. We think depicting a bear paw inside of a human paw. With both claws out, though. If you come stand over here,
The British shield.
there's actually a woman with just depicted inside of a bear paw below.
Oh yeah.
And more of those weird alien people, or sprouting seeds, floating up dots.
If we were doing trail 2, we would get right up in there. On this side, we have these triangular shaped masks or faces and a spiral. And of course we got historic stuff on this side and that thing that looks like a Thai symbol.
Okay, there's a spear. Yeah, 3 of those lollipops.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what they look like. Oh, that's beautiful.
Isn't it beautiful?
That's good lighting on that one. Yes.
It's the sun laying an egg.
Giving birth to the planet, dude.
You can see inside of the sun is a moon, or a possible moon. Half of that circle has been infilled.
That's that. What if that's showing Venus shooting out of it?
Very well could be.
Bird legs. This one's really, really interesting and rare in its iconography. We haven't found anything else
That's
a
cosmic.
sun, moon, head. Yeah, how cosmic is that?
That's
Could be depicting an eclipse event too.
could be showing a comet coming out of something.
Nothing on here except for the spirals, which are very deep effect, and the cupules in between the spirals. Everything else is really faint.
A couple more lollipops.
So this is, you'll notice this spiral on the right-hand side. If you follow the tail, it actually ends in a Vanyu head, Vanyu snake head. And it's a winter solstice calendar marker. And like we were talking about before, winter solstice was the time of power for the Vanyu, who was making it dark and cold. So at dawn, at winter solstice, this right here
Yeah.
catches the sun and creates a shadow that goes right to the very center of the spiral.
Oh, wow. Oh, you got footprints up there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, are there any 6-toed footprints? Like a newspaper rock?
That's a good question.
There is a newspaper rock. And
Ready to move.
Right, we don't
It's
want.
huge and it's ready to just go down. And we'll see. We're going to come around. We'll look. But
Okay.
just so you guys know that this is a really fragile area.
Yeah.
The theme of this knoll seems to be birth and female fertility. The shape of the vulva, basically like a, what's the word, the horseshoe with a line in it, is something that archaeologists generally view as a depiction of female genitalia. On the very top of this newspaper rock, there's a whole row of them at the very top. Don't know.
And see, this squatting man dude is found all over the place. This guy right here, this is one of the most popular petroglyphs.
We call this a birthing figure.
Yeah, yeah. We call it Squatter Man.
Well, okay, so
I know, that's very male-centric of you.
Well, I get it. Good one. That's
No,
good.
I don't
That's
care.
good. No, that's good.
And it's described in the literature as mother of all animals.
Is it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, there's one of those, turkey.
You were on the right path, apparently.
And lots of copules here.
Yeah.
Everybody else goes right in there.
Because of dorks like myself.
Yeah, that's our mindset. Oh my God.
Yeah. Archaic geometric pattern. And it's interesting because
Oh, yeah. We've seen stuff like this.
we know how the area used to be very different and very lush. And for there to be this much water, was there ever a reflection of the mountains? We've got the Chuchis Peaks back
Right.
there.
That would have to fill the whole valley.
Right.
The whole valley would have to be filled.
Well, we do know that a half a mile wide the water would stretch.
That'd be
Who
kinda cool.
knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
But that is, to me, it looks like mountains.
You can see the horns on the right
Yeah,
side.
yes.
Yeah.
And he's holding some tools.
Yeah.
Tuning fork in the one arm.
And look, lined up behind the Avanium is a sun.
Right there. But then what's this big giant plasma ball thing?
There's the guy again.
Why is that filled in next to the guy with real sparky hair and weird, no body?
So we call him another shield bearer. Guy holding a shield in front of him. But he's got a square head, which is rare.
He looks like Hubert.
Maybe even blackened?
So this is where we've got the 2 fingers and then the 4 fingers on this one. 4 fingers on this one, 2 fingers on this one.
Like, isn't he holding 3?
Sorry, 3.
Oh no, that's okay. That's okay. I was just confused. I'm not trying to correct you. I was just
No.
like, I didn't mean it like that. I'm just like,
I just misspoke. Thank you.
no. Okay, so if you've ever seen a plasma lightning, looks like that. Right here. It looks
So, like,
exactly like this.
Inside of the kind of like a cloud, you can see like the lightning bolts kind of just going in a circle.
No, they're if you look up plasma balls, like there's these lightning storms sometimes, and from the lightning there's these plasma balls that are like lightning balls, but they look just like that.
Interesting.
He just likes saying balls.
No.
I'm just doing this so I can shade
It looks
for
like
you.
a long-tailed horse.
Interesting. Look how long the neck is too. And the lichen came in and is decorating it.
But this is a presumed mountain lion with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 legs and a tail.
He has an extra something in here.
It's a boy. Oh yeah, it could be something underneath. Yeah, you're correct there. 4 legs and it's something underneath, like the little mountain lion had a baby.
Maybe. We got another something here, unfinished. I'm standing like this because I'm shading, not because I'm a weirdo.
Oh my God.
Trees in the field,
What's that?
and sometimes when I take a backpack over shade. We're learning more and more was of extreme importance to people and drew people, ancient people.
So beautiful.
If you guys look farther back into Player Hollow, you'll see a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
The whole thing is
Yeah,
just
yeah, I can see that.
totally
Oh my gosh. That huge boulder down there. Look at that circle on that boulder.
And on top of both of those big rocks you're looking at, those big boulders, is a ton of stuff.
Oh, yes, there is.
You could say that for all of the rocks we're looking at.
Right.
I know that for sure about this area.
Oh, it's gnarly.
And from this here, you can also kind of see how we've got this flat mesa-like area above Clara Hollow.
It's endless.
The old one's on the top of this one too, it looks like.
Yeah, so those are cake prints,
yes,
we
yeah.
think are sandal prints with this series of discs together. We see that clumping of those discs a lot, and we think it might have a relationship with the Pleiades.
Pleiades, that's the Seven Sisters.
Seven
I was
Sisters.
about to say that.
So what are those two big motherships going to the Seven Sisters?
Well,
Take
what's
them.
interesting is on the left one you
Take
can
me to
see
your
the
leader.
line at the heel, which is common for when we see sandal tracks being depicted, because they would weave from a stick.
Why would they do sandal tracks though next to the Pleiades star system?
Because that's where human genetics came from the aliens.